So in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 essential components of any professional level image so you can see exactly what you should be focusing on in order to get the best results. Now, a lot of frustrated photographers, and this might include you, are doing many of the same things. They're Googling it and YouTubing it, and as a result, you're missing out on that crucial nuggets of information that tie it all together. Or you're just learning things out of order and you're trying to do step 10, but because you actually haven't mastered step 2 yet, you're finding that nothing's coming together and connecting in the way that it should. And this is when it can feel like you're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. You've got so much information about photography, but none of it's coming together, none of it's connecting in the way that it should. And that's when, crucially, you can't get the images that you see in your head to translate into the camera. So today I'm going to go through this 5 essential components so you can see what you should be focusing on, because that's what's actually going to move the needle for you. Now, this is actually going to be the exact same framework that we teach inside my Auto to Awesome program to make sure that our students get results quickly and easily. So without further ado, let's dive in now to pillar number 1, which is light. Now, you might have been rolling your eyes a little bit at that because probably everybody and your mother has told you that light is crucial in photography, but that's because it's true. Light really can make or break your image. Now, if you feel that your images are a little bit bland, a little bit uninteresting, the chances are you're sticking to using safe light because you're scared to branch out. Or maybe you are using great light, but you're using it in the wrong way, so it's unflattering to your subjects. So learning about light is seriously one of the most powerful things you can do for your photography journey, which is why it is one of our key pillars, and in fact, why I've put it there at number 1. So pillar number 2 is exposure. Now, exposure in its basic form is simply making sure that your image is neither too light nor too dark. But what we really mean by that is we want to get the correct creative exposure for the scene. Now, if you're not getting that yet, it means you're probably still in one of the auto modes, either full auto or one of the semi-automatic modes like aperture or shutter priority. Now, you will find that you're not going to get the results that you want in those auto settings. You really want to learn how to take control of exposure yourself by shooting in full manual mode. Now, although you do have a little bit of leeway with your exposure, you can fix it to a certain degree in editing. We definitely don't want to rely on that, because getting the exposure wrong in camera can mean that you get more noise, that grainy, speckly stuff all over your image. And it can also mean that we get hot spots on our subjects or have our subjects have grey and unappealing skin. So we definitely want to make sure that we get this right in camera. And crucially, exposure and light go hand in hand. Unless you're shooting in manual mode and learning to take control of your own exposure, you're not going to be able to get great results in challenging light. So learning about light and learning how to expose for it go hand in hand. So next up is pillar number 3, which is color. And by that, I mean getting the right overall color in your image. We want to make sure generally that we have the image looking true to life. Now, we can get creative with the color as well, but especially with photos of people, we want to make sure that they get their skin tones correct. We want to make sure that they don't look like a smurf or like they have a suntan or they've gone overboard with the fake tan. So we want to make sure that we get our color right, because again, if we don't have that right, our image isn't going to look professional. So pillar number 4 is focus, and this is crucial for getting an image that looks and feels professional, because regardless of everything else, if you've got the perfect light and a really cute subject, but your image is soft and slightly out of focus, it's not going to look professional. It's going to slip it back into snapshot territory pretty quickly. So we do want to make sure that we have tack sharp focus in our images where we want it. Now, I do want to say that that has to be intentional. So sometimes you do actually want soft and blurred areas of your image. For example, in a portrait image, you want a soft, blurry background to pull focus directly to your subject. In other types of images, you might want to show motion, for example, in a waterfall. So it's getting the exposure correct and the focus exactly where we want it. So in exactly the same thing as with exposure, we don't necessarily want all the image to be sharp, but we want to make it intentionally sharp where we want it. So our fifth and final pillar is composition. Now, composition is simply how we arrange the various elements in our image, either to make it more pleasing and more engaging, or to bring attention to our subject. Now, it's that secret sauce that actually can lift a everyday mundane activity and make it look much more engaging and magical and interesting. So it's an important one to get right as well. So that is our 5 pillars, and what we want to do is make sure that we have all 5 of these in every single photo that we take if we want them to look polished and professional. Now, I always think of this like a jigsaw puzzle because you'll only see the result you want when you have all of these elements fitting together. Now, of course, this was just an overview of what you need to learn. So if you want to get much more detail, make sure you download my free 90-day photography learning blueprint. You will find a link to it around where you're watching this video. So that's it from me today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.